Hey there everybody, what's up? Kevin here from the My Song Day Rock 2000 Today YouTube channel, and today we are going to be doing our review of the 6th Slipknot album, We Are Not Your Kind, from Croatia. I mean, how cool is that? So for those of you who do not know how these album reviews work, this is how this one's going to go. First, I'm going to go through a little bit of background on the album, kind of how we got to this point with the band Slipknot and where they stand right now. Second, I'm going to go through each song of the album in order, one by one, giving you my thoughts on the meaning of the song, the vocal pattern, the lyrics, the instrumentation, the melody, and overall what I really feel about the song. Then I will be giving the album my rating on a scale of 0 to 10. Of course, 0 being, let's say, Keystone Light, and 10 being the St. Bernard's AB12, which is top choice. And then, of course, I'm going to give you my full reason why behind it. Now, again, this one's going to be a little bit different just because of the fact that I'm in a different location and the quality is going to be different because I'm shooting this on a webcam, not my normal point and shoot. So we'll see what happens, and let's get on into it, shall we? So let's go through the background on this one. This is Slipknot's 6th studio album, We Are Not Your Kind, following Point 5, The Gray Chapter, which came out back in 2014. So fans have been waiting for this one for about 5 years now. And there was a lot of things going on, but one of the big things that's happened since the lead up to this album was the departure of Chris Fenn from the band. That has been highly publicized, highly dramatized over not potentially getting royalties properly paid for concerts and for merch that should be royally his. And the band ended up kicking him out for this. And since then, we haven't heard very much since I believe about March or April 2019, right when We Are Not Your Kind was pretty much announced that it would be coming out in 2019. So there's been a little bit of an issue, but it seems like that's kind of being taken care of in the background. Now, this is also an album that was leaked onto YouTube and on the streaming platforms for not necessarily Spotify or Google Play or stuff like that, but it was leaked about 3 days before the album came out. But of course, you know us, we're not going to listen to it until it actually comes out, and we did. So now let's get on into it. So the first song is Insert Coin, and this just serves as an intro to the album where it has a lot of synthesizers in there and is very minimal, no vocals from Corey, to kind of just say, yeah, this is an intro into the album. I really did not like this move just due to the fact that the first single on the album is What's Up at number 2, and I'll talk about that because that song has an intro which makes it really sound like the intro to the album. So this felt like it was just a complete waste of space. I really was not a fan of it, but the band chose it, so let's go to number 2. So the second song on the album is the first single, which is Unsainted. Now, the meaning of the song goes deep into going after depression and defeating it, along with organized religion not being a remedy for it. And this kind of dives deep into what Corey Taylor went through as a kid, and he does really knock organized religion for this at this point. Overall, when I listened to the song, I really did like how the intro was used with a kids church chorus, just because it gave the album a little bit of an interesting sound to it, or not the album, the song, an interesting sound to it that really brought it into the forefront. Overall, the verses throughout the whole entire thing, very sloppy. It just didn't seem like it really connected very well, but the banging of a empty keg with a drumstick, I love that sound, so it really worked well here. I'm a big fan though of the chorus. It really drives, it's crisp, it's clean, it is done very well, but overall I was really distracted by the verses on the song to really make it not one of my favorites, but that chorus was good. So number 3 is Birth of the Cruel. This is the 3rd single from the album, and it was dropped about maybe a couple of days before the actual album was released, so it was relatively quick. This song dives deep into Corey Taylor's life and people being mistreated when they were younger and how it has evolved them to be today, and that's something that we can all relate to. I do like how, again, it uses that drumstick on a metal keg sound, and I really do like it in the beginning, but it just doesn't work with the flow overall. It's more choppy than sloppy. What I mean by choppy is it seems like there are parts that work, but they're just not put together very well, so it sounds like it's chopped up too much. I do kind of have an interesting feeling how Corey's vocals are more clean in the verses and then go unclean in the chorus. I really do like how they did that on this song, but the instrumentation just doesn't really fit here. It seems like the song was kind of pieced together from other projects, like you have a post-it note on a bunch of post-it notes, I should say, on a fridge with a bunch of ideas, and you kind of just try and piece them together. It just felt like this one was chopped up a little bit too much for my taste. Number 4, we have Death Because of Death, and it's just like a filler song that's not very long. It's, again, like under about a minute and a half, maybe a little bit over. I think. And it just was not a good inclusion, just because the first and the third singles up to this point have created a certain flow, and now this kind of just broke it up a little bit. And just hearing just death because of you just does not work, because that's the only vocals you ever hear in throughout the whole entire song. It just does not work. Plus, it doesn't really dive deep and really lead you as an intro into the next song, Neo Forte. So I really didn't like its inclusion on here. It just felt messed up. Number 5, we have Neo Forte. This might be my favorite song on the album, actually, because the song focuses on how you should always be you in the face of whenever someone else doesn't want you to be you and wants you to be a version of what they want you to be, which I really do like on that, big old Gary Vee mantra. Vocally, I do like what they do with Corey Taylor's vocals, because it's very unclean throughout the verses and the chorus. It's clean with the backing vocals from the rest of the band, with some unclean moments basically spread out here and there. And the mixture is done very well. Instrumentally, that mix is done just as well. They do a couple of things where they break down. Kind of reminds me of something like they did on Psychosocial, which is pretty cool. And the tempo of the song doesn't really change up through the transitions, but it really does work on this one. I really like the construction of this one. I like how it flows. It's crisp, it's clean, and it's rough as well at the same time. This is a good one, guys. This is a good one. Coming number 6, we have Critical Darling. This song focuses on the critical nature of organized religion, basically kind of molding people into a certain way and really, going against people who are going to be thinking a different way. It really goes against the thought of individual thinking and individuality, and really focuses on something called groupthink. And it's something that, I really do kind of get a little bit more. The intro starts out kind of wacky on this one, in my opinion, but leads into a pace that picks up and really drives like a march style, like Stay in Line, which is really something that works given the theme. Vocally, I think they could have gone without the part in the pre-chorus, just because it really doesn't work. It really doesn't flow into the chorus at all. It just completely changes it up. Not really well. The verse, I really like how this one is done, especially where the instrumentation is and the vocals, but the chorus is where it really loses me, and I kind of get lost in there. But I do like the instrumentation on it. I just don't like the vocals. There's just something that just doesn't really work well with the type of vocals that Corey Taylor uses in the chorus. It sounds like something they were kind of going towards Psychosocial in a style, but it really just didn't hit that when they should have stuck with that Psychosocial chorus for the vocals. The bridge also messes with the song as well. It's just like a massive change of pace that kind of makes it really go slower down. And did I say slow down? Slow down. It just ruins it for me. So overall, I had a good feeling going into the song, but after a while, it just went downhill. At number 7, we have A Liar's Funeral, and I'm a little concerned about this one because I think they're commenting on the whole entire Chris Fenn situation at this point. Not 100% sure. Don't want to put, say, this is definitely, because I'm really not entirely sure, but it sounds like it could be. The intro brings in acoustic guitars, which is something I'm really not expecting from Slipknot. It reminds me of something a lot like Through Glass by, of course, Stone Sour actually works here. And I just thought this is a little bit of an interesting experiment. Let's see. It just reminds me of something that Stone Sour would run through, but it just has some unclean vocals from Corey Taylor sprinkled in. I really didn't like this one just because it really messes with the sound that I don't think Slipknot should be really experimenting with at this point, just because it sounds too much like a different project that Corey Taylor works with. And if they're going to make a song that kind of spited Chris Fenn and they did it this way, it just had a very hasty delivery. It just didn't sound like it was very well thought out. At number 8, we have Red Flag, and this song is all about how there are red flags in society, basically, that are going on right now to prevent individuality and kind of put you into the box and groupthink. Let me read you the chorus real quick, because it kind of wants you to pick sides. Chorus goes, they'll smother their own just to feel you, they'll get you alone just to eat you, they'll eat you alive just to kill you, nobody will have you, used to be something special, now you're nothing new. Kind of just basically molding you into, just background noise, which is something you don't want to end up doing. I like this construction on this one because it's just classic Slipknot construction. With the verse at that rapid pace with Corey Taylor's unclean vocals, and that pre-chorus does have the exact same kind of vibe to it that you really get off a classic Slipknot song. So I really do like it. And that instrumentation between the chorus and the verses, like right after the chorus, leading into the next verse, oh man, there's a lot going on there, but it's all done in perfect harmony. Big fan of it. The biggest issue I have with this one ends up being the refrain. It just blends in too much. The chorus, I'd say. It just blends in too much. It doesn't really stand out. It took me a while to actually figure out when this came in. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. I do like this song, but I just cannot get the fact that the chorus blends in out of my head. At number 9, we have What's Next. I have absolutely no idea what's going on with What's Next. Are they trying to do some type of transition here? They're going to be doing something completely experimental at the end of the album? It just really doesn't make sense to me because there was a lot of momentum built up between the last couple of songs, and it just does not flow. It just cuts it up. I'm like, what's going on here? Are we going to a complete different transition? I just don't think it works. It's really weird. But let's get to the next one. Coming in at number 10, we have Spiders, and I want to say this one is again about social conformity, but this one is rather hard to tell if it is or not. I'm really not a big fan of the piano style intro that they really brought into this one, because it kind of bleeds into the first verse that really just doesn't fit. It just seems like it's really odd. This is definitely a big experimentation for the band. I am not going to lie. They really took it and ran with it, where Corey kind of goes really too soft with his vocals on this one. I mean, there could be some unclean moments sprinkled in there, but it just seems really odd because it sounds like, again, something that he'd be doing on a very much softer Stone Sour song. I do like kind of how the guitar solo works in this one. It is done with a very interesting degree, and I know that Jim Root really enjoyed doing a guitar solo on this one like this, and it's pretty cool. But overall, this is just not a good one because it lost all momentum that was picked up by Red Flag and the rest of the couple of songs that were before it, and now we're in a completely different realm here on We Are Not Your Kind, and I'm just very concerned about what the next 4 songs are going to hold for us. At number 11, we have Orphan. This song talks all about the journey to find yourself, which most people spend most of their life doing. Most people never fully get into. They always feel like an orphan even in their own body. The song really starts out with kind of like a slower pace to it, and the instrumentation just picks up a little bit once the guitar comes in, but then once the percussion section comes in and you get the drums, oh man, do we get some heavy instrumentation, absolute smoke show on this one. And then once it drives into Corey Taylor with the vocals for the first verse, ooh, does he go unclean on those and then clean up into the last line when we get to the unclean vocals for the chorus. So I really do like how his vocals work here, and I do really like the construction on this song overall. It is done rather well, but just the way the chorus drives, there's something about it just feels off. I just really don't connect well with it. I do like the route they take on this one overall, experimental wise. I think this might be the best experimental version of a song that they do, but when it comes to the chorus, I think they really missed it wide left. At number 12, we have the song My Pain, which is all about you being in love with somebody and you sharing both their pain, so their pain becomes yours and your pain becomes theirs, and you two become one, which, you have to do that in order to make love work. I'm really getting tired of some of these slower melodic intros, though. I mean, they've been doing it a lot lately, and I think in the past 3 songs, and it just does not feel right, because it seems like it's just rehashing the same stuff over and over and over again. But then once that intro is over, unlike the previous song, it goes very slow, like a slow jam, and it just doesn't really fit. You gotta respect the experimentation, though, because if you're not gonna try and experiment, you're not gonna try and innovate, it's not gonna really work, and you're gonna get to sound stale. So I do have to respect them on this one, but this is a territory that I don't think Slipknot should really go into because it just doesn't fit their style. This is more of a experimentation I expect from Stone Sour, so I think Corey Taylor kind of missed the mark on this one. The song does stand out when you have those xylophone parts sprinkled in there, and does fit in well with the theme. I'm not gonna lie, you kind of have to have a slower jam song for the theme, but overall, it just sounds like there's really no passion behind the song. There's got to be a different kind of way you have to go about it, and I just don't think Slipknot has the passion for this type of song, so I'm not a big fan of it. At number 13, we have Not Long for This World. And this one, I believe, is another commentary on the social construct and how everything is done in society. But again, I'm not entirely sure. This thing, again, does that same melodic intro that the past few have, and I'm getting sick and tired of it, as they're just all bleeding together at this point, and I'm forgetting which song is which, and it's just not that good. Sound-wise, again, it is very similar to My Pain. It has that slow jam feel. That's something that's slower that Stone Sour would easily do as an experimentation. I just don't like when Slipknot does it. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like an avenue that they should really go down. But Corey Taylor's vocals on this track are what I have to highlight because it really shows the potential range for what he can do in both clean and unclean vocals, which I really do enjoy here. It's probably the best part of there, but overall, it just does not transition well. And the progression of the instrumentation with the lyrics and with the vocal pattern from Corey Taylor, it just doesn't really transition well. But if you're looking for something that really shows off Corey Taylor's vocal power and what he can do, this is the one for you. So last but not least, we have the second single to come off the album, which is Solway Firth. This song's about putting a mask and being someone that you're not. It actually is regarding a famous photograph that people thought they saw something in, and it ended up being not true, ended up kind of being, I believe it was fabricated, or it might have just been something completely erroneous, but whatever, it kind of just works in here, and it kind of fits in with the theme of just being someone that you're not. So this one doesn't necessarily sound as choppy in comparison to some other singles like Birth of the Cruel, as the connection between the verse and the chorus and the vocals with the instrumentation, those connections are a lot smoother, and it does flow a lot like something that came off of the Iowa album, which I do enjoy. However, there's still kind of like a mixture that I just am kind of trying to understand, but it does have that progression, does have that flow, a little bit more experimental from the band, so I do like this one, and they bring in that keg with the drumstick again, and oh man, you guys know I'm a sucker for that, so I'm a big fan of that. But overall, is my favorite song? No, I still think I'm going to go with Neo Forte, but is it my favorite of the singles? Absolutely. So overall, what are we going to give We Are Not Your Kind, the 6th studio album by Slipknot? My rating is... I'm going to give We Are Not Your Kind a 4.5 out of 10. So We Are Not Your Kind is getting a 4.5 out of 10, which is kind of low at this point. So why am I kind of low on it, and why am I not the biggest fan of it? Well, let's take a look at what I like about it. I do like how the intro to the album starts out with Unsainted, and how it really flows through, because it really gets it off to the right foot with that adrenaline kick that we know Slipknot can bring. Neo Forte, I believe, is the best song on the album, so I gotta give that one a mention here, and I really like the whole entire construction of it. Most of Critical Darling, that wasn't the pre-chorus, was actually well done, and I wish they just wouldn't have that pre-chorus in there, but most of the song is worth listening to, and I do really like Red Flag as well, despite the fact that, again, with the chorus, it's woven in there way too well, so it's just... you don't really know when it comes in or not. It's kind of tough to really figure out. When it comes to the experimental side with Not Long for This World, I do like how Corey Taylor's vocals really show off his whole entire range, and almost all of Solway Firth is what I really like about this album. Dislikes, however, those 3 quick transition songs, it just breaks up the album way too much. It really kills any momentum that really gets going to it, so it chops it up way too much, and it sounds like I'm listening to 3 separate little EPs in there. Birth of the Cruel, and it kind of sounded like it was pieced together. That was something I wasn't a big fan of. It just didn't sound like it really worked very well, and there's a very poor and uninspired delivery on A Liar's Funeral. It just sounds like, again, it was forced, and it just didn't sound like it was well done. I think I said hasty delivery, and I'm going to stick to it. The experimentations on this song that were after What's Next that aren't Solway Firth, I'm really not a big fan, because it always had the same kind of intro. They went a lot slower. Again, you have to respect the instrumentation, or not the instrumentation, the experimentation that they provide on this one, because you have to try and experiment to try and find maybe some different sounds to work with outside of your classics. But that just sound like it missed the mark on a lot of these, because it sounded like something that I would expect a lot more from Stone Sour. And when you have Corey Taylor with both Slipknot and Stone Sour, and I'm thinking that they're making Stone Sour songs, it just doesn't work out as cool as it was. And I think the biggest issue I had with this one was we heard All Out Life, a single they came out with back in October of 2018 that would have been perfect to put on this album right at the beginning, and they missed the mark on that one. They didn't include it. They left it as a single, and I'm not a fan of it because it should have been on this album. Overall, I think this was a rather weak outing for Slipknot, and a rather disappointing one due to the fact that we've been waiting 5 years for this album. There are bright spots on this one, don't get me wrong, but I just don't really think that they've hit the mark on a lot of these songs. Again, that's my take. Want to know what your take is, but that's my take on this album. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you for watching the My Song a Day Rock 2000 Day album review on We Are Not Your Kind from Slipknot, live from Croatia. I'm literally sitting on the rocks right on the Adriatic Sea right now. I mean, this is awesome. So if you like this video, give me a like. If you don't like this video, give me a dislike. But put in the comments why you like and dislike this video, and I will look at them and I will respond to them, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. If you like this channel, you want to watch more of these videos, subscribe. No, not that subscribe. Get that out of here. You want to hit the one in the bottom right-hand corner, because that one's going to work, and that bell icon too, because you're going to get notified when we release videos every single Wednesday, because we release videos every single Wednesday, and some special Monday ones when we have multiple albums to review in a week. Now let's get that out of here and let's go to our social media platforms, because we have a lot of social media platforms that we're on that you need to be following. So hit us up on Facebook, because on Facebook you're going to find out about a lot of things that are going on, like what the song of the day is, when YouTube videos come out, when podcasts come out, when everything comes out, you're going to get notified there. Also follow us on Twitter as well. When it comes to Twitter, what do we do on Twitter? With Twitter, we talk to you guys about what's going on in music. We find out what's going on, what you guys think, and where we're going to go from there. Also follow us on Instagram, because on Instagram, we talk the same thing. We kind of connect with you guys, figure out what's going on in music, talk with you guys what you think, and we also do a lot more on Instagram as well, such as our IGTV videos, which gives you a behind-the-scenes look at what we're doing, what we're thinking, and what's going on in my brain when it comes to special projects going forward. The other thing that we do on there is our Instagram live stream. So every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Time Zone, you can come and watch our live streams. You can join in, you can ask questions, we'll answer them, or we'll just get into a great conversation. It's a great way to connect with us. So I want to see you guys on there. Again, 9 p.m. Central, Wednesday nights. Let's get those out of here. Let's talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It's a podcast that we do here on My Song Day Rock 2000 Day. It comes out every single Tuesday on all your platforms, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and here on YouTube as well. That's where we do a much deeper dive look into certain things, such as the albums that we'll be talking about. We also, we talk to you guys as well, the fans. You guys call in, and we will talk to you about music as much as we want in much long-form conversation. And we've been talking to a lot of smaller bands as well, such as Ascending from Ashes, Kingdom Collapse, Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh, and we do have Apollo 03 coming up very soon. So you guys get to take a look at a deeper look into some of these smaller bands that we feature on Small Band Saturday, and get a further look into kind of like who they are, and you can get in on them before they make it big. So links again for all of this stuff is in the description below. And last but not least, if you're not subscribed to the My Song Day Rock 2000 Day Alexa skill, what are you guys doing? I want you to go subscribe to that right now by clicking the link in the description below and adding it to your Alexa skill set, because all you have to do is say, "Hey Alexa, play my song of the day," and Alexa will go with playing your song of the day. You'll get a 5-second intro from me regarding what day it is and what song it is, and then you're going to hear the song in its entirety from start to finish, and once it's over, you can listen to it again for 24 straight hours. It's a great way to reconnect with old bands you haven't heard of in a while, find out about new bands, find out about smaller bands on Small Band Saturday that haven't hit it big yet but are looking to do that, and just get through the rest of the day. Wake up to it, work out to a song, and figure it out. End your day with it, and then once the next day hits, boom, you get a brand new song. You listen to it for 24 straight hours. It's a great way for all you music lovers to really get a hold of some great new music, great older music, and just enjoy. So I want to see you on that, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm incredibly proud that you guys are, sticking with me on this one. Love it. Thank you guys. Again, I'm gonna have to apologize about any background sounds or the lighting as well, because the sunrise is happening right over there and it's kind of starting to get in my face. But I have to shoot this video, because otherwise, if I wasn't gonna shoot it here, I was not gonna be putting out an album review for Slipknot's We Are Not Your Kind. And I kind of have to at this point, because, well, it's been a big album release. You gotta review it. So that's gonna be it for me. This is Ken from the My Song Day Rock 2000 Today YouTube channel. You guys know I end all these videos. Let's try and do the hat flip and parado. That didn't go very well, but see ya!